names here when you look at Soren and Wicked as well. On a challenger level, they're a pretty strong lineup, but it says a lot.
They really are. One last thing on the Kasing thing. He was talking about it being like the 2v2 matchup between top and jungle.
Sure.
We didn't really see a whole lot of that.
That's fair.
And I mean, Max Lord did not necessarily massively outshine Troven. Specifically, Troven got those early game kills and set them up with those aggressive flashes into the cocoons.
Yeah.
So yeah, that
It's okay.
was a thing. But
I know he's probably not watching, unfortunately.
no.
He's enjoying his moment in the sun with... there's a TV show on about him in, like, now.
Oh yeah,
right, in the UK. So he's probably, like, gathered all of his friends.
Get 2 monitors, watch
yeah,
both. Don't miss
exactly.
this action.
Anyway, we are into picks and bans.
We are.
A lot of the same, but a LeBlanc ban coming out. Did not see that in the last series. Now,
Everything else is the
Inspire
same.
have a red side on this and could easily have counterpicked mid lane. So interesting to see the LeBlanc come out as a ban from the Wolves. Normally you'd see it blind picked. I guess you could blind pick it on like 3rd rotation and then counterpick top. But we have seen CosQ play a lot, so it's a strange one. The rest of the bans, Fiora, Kalista, Gangplank, Lulu, and Corki, really nothing different there. Alistair is available, Trundle is up, could be a support pick first. Graves is up.
There's a lot up.
There's a lot up.
Yes.
Like,
There's so many
none
different
of the
directions
above.
to go. Lucian, I was not expecting as the first pick.
Neither was I. I will say that as well.
I mean, we have seen like early picks of like Kalista, like very big impact AD carries. Pinoy did well as the Lucian,
Yeah.
but the first pick, and now leaving Graves and Alistair, who will be picked away here from Inspire.
So, I like the pickup, because with Kalista banned, and now Lucian going up as the first pick, what it says to Inspire is you have a few options. Same situation as earlier. Corki AD carry is one option. The Misfortune, the Ezreal are like the other options. But Corki and Ezreal and Misfortune have their issues. Like they're pretty separate issues, like almost polar opposites of the other. It's like Ezreal needs time, Misfortune runs out of time without a good team fight. So now we got to look at what Inspire default to when they're put on a bit of a difficult situation on their AD carry.
Oh, Elise up again, and Sir Nukeslot is picking up Trundle. I want him to pick something different. That's all I want in life. But it's been what, 4 Trundle games?
That's all you want in life?
Yeah, right now. That's
all he wants in life.
That's all I want.
Okay.
I want to see a new support.
Okay.
This Trundle.
It sounds like a toddler. Like,
Yeah, but like,
that's
I'm
all
an
I
easy
want.
person to please. Like, that's not a bad thing.
I guess not.
Someone's gonna
But
gift that, I know
at that point, we will go back to talk a bit about the Graves, the Alistair. Very standard first rotations coming out from Inspire. Don't really show too much, other than they now have a jungler that requires a little bit more resources to carry, because it's that carry jungler as opposed to the facilitator, and now that is a pick I know you are very happy to talk about in the Shen.
Yeah, I may have to talk about it later because I may not stop talking for around 20 minutes. But TLDR, this is the new Shen. We're on 6-2, and he has changes to W, Spirit's Refuge, and his Q, Twilight's Assault. So yeah, lots of changes, but we will get into them later. I just want to know what lane he's in first so we can break that down.
One thing I will kind of precede all of this with, as you said, we're on 6.2, which is the rework. Jhin is not available. Shen is available.
Yep.
So just for clarity's sake,
Also,
Shen not classed as a big enough rework.
Yes. Kalista also, Kindred not in with Sona.
Yes. Yeah.
Because Sona causes people to crash when you spectator.
Which unfortunately is quite useful for us with
Yes.
spectating.
I would
Anyway,
quite like to watch this game.
so Poppy for the second time today. We
And
saw
Lux.
Morsu playing earlier, and this is a flip around for the mid laners if we see an Ahri locked in, but this is now counterpick territory. That was actually the word I was looking for.
Yeah. Look
You
at
read
this.
my mind.
Just finishing each other's sentences.
That's not good.
No, it is not. Get out of my head. Okay, last pick. What's it going to be from Inspire? Could be a variety of things. There's so many things left open.
Yeah, I like CosQ. It's likely to be something like an Ahri, something with catch potential.
Yeah, maybe even Cassiopeia.
I'm assuming, yeah, with the Alistair locked in, Shen's actually going up to the top lane. Huh. So it's interesting because a lot of the discussions that I've had with people about Shen has been how Shen seemingly fits more of a support role. But this was before Shen actually was released, right? So this was a lot of theoretical discussion about how strong the ability to deny the 2 versus 2 in the bottom lane was. Top lane, I guess it would have the same kind of effect. You deny the ability to trade 1 versus 1. So I'm now really intrigued by this top lane matchup, especially during somebody that wants to against somebody that wants to trade heavily like Poppy. Last pick was that Lissandra coming in from the middle lane for CosQ. This now gives a lot of global potential for Inspire. They can look to 1-3-1 fairly easily off this.
Lissandra's a last pick. So often we see an early pickup of Lissandra, but making all the way to the last rotation. But yeah, 1-3-1 is a very real possibility, especially with top lane Shen as well. Double teleport as well, so IE could really control the map. And this is one of the, I think, the first series that we could see a series actually go to 1-on-1.
Yeah.
Because like IE have a good draft. Last game they didn't even play badly. It wasn't even just like a complete stomp. So this could definitely swing the other way. That being said, from Copenhagen Wolves with the Lux once again. First pick on Lucian though to Pinoy. Have to see if that actually pays off. The first pick of Kalista really did for Holy Phoenix in the first series. Lucian, I have to see if it will pan out.
Yeah, we saw Soren have a good game as well. Soren was really the foundation of game 1 of this series, so now we have to see whether Soren can have the same start to game with the Lux as he did with the Ahri. But there's some cool things in this game. I'm looking forward to this Poppy versus Shen match up top.
Well, hop on Twitter, use the hashtag CWWin and hashtag IEWin. I saw a lot of you in the IE camp last game. It was 71%. I'm sure you did that because of Kasing. He was wrong. I want you to use your own minds and go for what you think, what your heart tells you.
What's this?
It is the Spirit Blade Stress.
Ooh.
It is. And now commences me talking about Shen for 20 minutes.
What I will say is, it's not very ninja-like to have a giant sword appear before you arrive.
Well, Shen's not a very ninja-y ninja.
Right.
He's the type of ninja who wants to get hit in the face a lot. Like,
but
what other
ninja
does that?
Like, I'm just saying, Pops.
Well, if what he already does is taunt people to get punched, like, having that doesn't really, like, change things much.
That's true.
Like, it's not even
I'm
stealthy.
just saying, it's like announcing the presence of a ninja. It's not great.
Yeah.
Clearly
it's like
not
a
from the League of Assassins.
It's like, I'm engaging. Soren spots out this invade from IE. They'll get down the early vision. God damn it, Lux.
Oh, I forgot about that. Although I did laugh at somebody in solo queue for like 20 minutes straight yesterday, which is quite funny.
I mean, tilt is very important in solo queue. That's why you hit the mastery emote when you kill them. Like,
but
it's important.
We didn't really see anything like that in the last game, though. Like, we saw Copenhagen Wolves playing very composed. Even Inspire, while playing behind, were very composed as well. Like, they weren't just crumbling apart. Unlike in our first series today, where kind of Huma just went, well, we're going to take everything.
Yeah.
And then SK just were like, well, we can't do anything against this. We just give you our base. So I expect this game, again, to be a fairly long one. We've got the Lucian, this time with no Lulu, against the Ezreal. So there is some sense of building time over this. Lux needs a couple of items. So does that Lucian and the Ezreal. So.
Okay, so lane swap up here. We're going to have the bot lane go into the top lane from Copenhagen Wolves, and the double jungle already started by Sartorius. This is particularly good for Shen because he actually gets extra damage to minions and monsters from Twilight Assault, so they'll clear this initial jungle a little bit faster. It's only 30 at rank 1, but because it's 3 auto attacks, it's 90 extra damage per rotation, so just a little bit faster. So going for this double jungle is quite nice for Inspire. And now Trovan and Wicked will head into the enemy jungle, take away the Gromp. Maybe it can take a little bit more. Will this be read out by Inspire, who will head into the enemy jungle themselves and take away this blue buff? Or will they head into mid lane, try and get something to happen? Nice read by Soren. Will place down the ward, so now they have to back away. They know where their position is, and that means that they can go for this blue, but Copenhagen Wolves have the information that they're doing so. Yeah,
it gave Trovan a lot of security there, just to get that information. Wicked joined in the push fairly early on, faster than Sartorius. Sartorius is actually waiting off at the side, so without the wave pushing up yet, It means Inspire ahead of the play. Sorry, Inspire are behind the play, as Wolves already have that tower down under half health. The Wolves are ahead of the play.
Yes, important difference there.
It is very important.
So yeah, not going to see the Shen matchup in this game. It's not going to see all those interesting lane mechanics, but...
Yeah, I'm a little sad.
Me too. I'm very sad. But we will see some of the combos that Shen now has, like you want to Shadow Dash through your opponent, then click Q to get the extra damage and attack speed from your Q. And then you hit W, Spirit's Refuge. Spirit's Refuge is very easy to activate. It has a long cooldown, but because his energy mechanic got changed, it now has 400 energy instead of 100, and it only costs 40. You can basically activate it whenever. So there'll never really be a situation where Shen will be left without his Spirit's Refuge. And right now, Maxwell could really use it in the mid lane, dropping very low, looking for the finish off by Soren, activates the E, picks up first blood. Kozku tries to save his ally, but he's dead, and he'll have to back away.
At that point, Maxwell just caught out in a position right there that he thought maybe they had the edge on. Maybe they were looking for, you know, the damage down onto Soren and Troven, but man, this Lux Elise catch potential is not something to mess around with. You land one of those abilities, the follow-up will be easy to land as well. Kozku is going to teleport back to lane. Soren, of course, is running Cleanse, so that was one of the big things that kicked that off. Up in this top lane now, though, Sartorius has to be careful. He is level 3, so we'll have access to all of his abilities, but he reads that something's up and backs himself away.
He sniffs it out. What I want to keep track of is whether Shen was a better pick than Tam Kench here for IE, because you have the potential pick potential that you were just talking about from Troven and Soren, which just picked up the first blood. Okay, Tam Kench wouldn't have been able to save him there, but as the game goes on, Tam Kench invalidates a lot of that pick potential just by devouring. Shen does something similar with his ultimate and being able to save them, but if they die too quickly, specifically early game when the shield only does 250 shielding, it may not be enough.
So I think the other aspect of that, and we'll hold on to this as Troven dropped pretty low there.
Get him.
Wicked's...
I mean, he's probably not going to die, but...
Yeah, I was just like, Maxwell's just shooting off at that point. It's just like, I'm going to get you if it's the last thing I do. No, the one difference between the two is Shen has an actual global, if that makes sense, compared to the Abyssal Voyage, which is like that limited range. So as the game goes on, the 1-3-1 becomes easier from Inspire to pull off.
That is correct. And also Shen can duel people, whereas Tam Kench just kind of sits there, and he doesn't really kill you, but he's very, very annoying. And
of course, as a reminder, 6.2 with the Shen rework, there are also Tam Kench nerfs, so a little bit less damage on Tam Kench. I'm happy to see the Shen. I really have been looking forward to seeing who brings him out in competitive, and whether it's top or support.
Yeah, Sartorius actually started with the Darren shield here. I was debating with some people whether it's actually worth going with Darren's shield now, or you just go Darren's blade, because you get the health back and you basically make up for the health regen by hitting minions. And it gives you extra damage versus the Darren shield, which doesn't give you that much anymore, and is the least efficient Darren's item to start off the game. So Darren's blade gives you a little bit more, but it just depends on playstyle, also depends how you're going to play the lane, and also how the early game goes. So really just down to personal preference. But I do personally run the Darren's blade.
Okay. Well, if that's what you do,
Thank you for that fact, Pulse. In the mid lane, though, Kozku with the ultimate. Wendelbo's there with the flash, the pulverize, and Woolite with the damage. They just need one more auto attack, and it's supplied by Kozku for the kill.
I'm glad Inspire there were to break up that awkward moment as Kozku picked the engage, but Soren was not expecting the follow-up from 3 other people in that situation as well, and couldn't get himself away.
No, he could not.
I'm just checking the cooldown on Soren's cleanse. There was a bit of a spectator bug, so I can't see whether it was actually available at the time. I think it was, but I would assume it had just come off cooldown.
Yep. One nice thing is it's very easy to CS under tower now as Shen, because your Q does more damage to both minions and monsters, and specifically minions. You can last hit them very easily, even if they're awkward health when they hit the turret, because often it's just like, well, I can only CS these if they're at a certain health, so the tower hits them and then you hit them. But now with the Shen, You can actually last hit.
Willite dodging in the same direction as the binding and banking that it didn't hit him.
It's a bold
good
play.
read. Good read. To know.
And you
that
will
one, not so good.
He's not level 6 as well, and he may get the execute, but Warlight's presence is enough to stop them from just all-hitting him. And Troven was very low there. Wicked popping his ultimate, CC's Wendelbo, but he was more trying to get away from Maxlaw.
And the fact that Wicked has his ultimate and Sartorius is only level 5 right now highlights an issue that just across the board Inspire have. Their AD carry is half a level down. The top lane for Inspire is a whole level down. There's big experience disparities between these two teams on some of the key members. If Inspire can get a little bit of time just in the lanes to soak up some waves, they may be able to equal that out if they can force Copenhagen Wolves away, perhaps. But that is a problem as we get towards these first few skirmishes, first few fights, that may make the game tough for Inspire. Ooh, blue buff! Oh,
Not quite there.
Nearly.
Look at that swing, though. Copenhagen Wolves now with 74%. You were 71% before this in the first game. That's all because of Kasing.
Turncoats.
Sheeple.
Sheeple.
But to go back on that
Don't
point.
worry, viewers. I'm still fine with you changing your minds. Remember that I will always support your changing of decisions.
Remember that I'm always judging you. But I wasn't the same. But to go back on that point, that has the biggest impact when you're around the level 6 area.
Yeah.
And because Copenhagen Wolves had that window and they couldn't utilize it, I even went for the Dragon when they were level 5 versus many level 6s and still got that. So I think the window may have closed.
Yes, for now it has. The next time that'll kind of open back up again is, you know, the difference between rank 2 ult and rank 1 is just that difference between cooldowns and damage on different ults. It's not as drastic as the level 6 point, but it certainly is that
the window
another
opens
little bit.
A little bit.
This is like a draft. Comes in.
It's not quite like a revolving door where like every like level 11, level 16 you have an opening, but
no, exactly. But no, the key point has gone, but the fact that it's only half a level isn't that big of a factor anymore.
Yeah.
But if that level disparity does increase, then there is a fair difference between the two.
That is a true statement.
Thanks, Pulse.
No problem,
I'm glad you got my back.
Yeah.
Unlike our viewers, who you don't have their back of at all, apparently.
But there's many backs to have, so I can't cover all of that. Mid lane though, Soren, level 8, level 9 Kozku, compare that to level 5 Nuxalot, who has not really been in lanes very often, so not been soaking up a lot of experience. As long as he gets level 6, that's all he really wants. Wendelbo the same. They just need the ultimates for survivability, both of them.
Wendelbo is soaking up experience now, as is Sir Nuxalot. So, didn't realize Sir Nuxalot was actually the one that picked up the Rift Herald. So that's a different one. The North American casters for the LCS were like Jat and Kobe were like, you should give it to junglers. You should always give it to. Like, they're on this jungler crusade. I think it's fine to give it to AD carries as well. Kozku flashed the ult.
Wow, he actually gets the ultimate on Panoy as he jumps out, and Troven now comes in and stops out Maxtor. Now everyone closes in around him and should be able to pick up this kill. The tower shot will finish him off, and the culling onto Warlight. Wendelbo will block it with his body. They both jump away. The ultimate used by Wicked and knocking Kozku out of the fight, maybe to stop the CC, maybe not the best target. Sartorius is now thrown into the wall, CC'd up, Troven's also there, and Copenhagen Wolves find another kill, 2-0 in that chase.
Inspire just trying to force things off that play from Kozku, and Kozku managed to get himself out alive. And like, looking at that, Inspire are going aggressive as the team with 2 teleports, all into one lane. They use the Shen ult to get them back in, still have both teleports available. Wicked TP's in as well. Like, Copenhagen Wolves dealt with that fairly well, considering all of the damage that went on Panoy to begin that. Panoy didn't actually die. Just real weird play out by Inspire, trying to get themselves aggressive into that setup there. We'll take another look at it again. This is all the damage on Panoy that Ezreal actually didn't hit. And then they flashed past the turret at this point, both Kozku and Maxlaw. Really odd.
There's the taunt. Sartorius.
the Poppy knockback.
Yeah,
Kozku.
so it's so difficult to judge whether a Poppy ultimate is good or not until you've seen the entire trade and then can review it. Because you don't know if knocking them away at that instant is good because you could have picked them off maybe, or at the same time they could have done enough to stop another kill from happening. So it's just difficult to judge.
I think that one for me is we'll get to that.
Well, Max Laura is pretty dead.
Yeah.
There's not much really to add on that one.
Well, that for me, it kind of depends on the health of the person that you hit back.
Yeah.
Right? So if you hit somebody that's full health, like, sweet, got it. If you hit somebody back that's like actually about to die, it's still fine because you even up the numbers, you just don't get the kill from it, if
Sure.
that makes sense. So, as you said, it kind of relies on the rest of the fight to see how good it is.
Yep.
But, like, this is going to sound weird, but it's something I was talking to Crepo about, and Crepo explained on the LCS about using Poppy ult to zone as well. Is like, it can be used very effectively and still not hit. You can channel it while walking up to an enemy tower, and anybody that steps forward has to back away, otherwise you hit them away, right?
Yeah.
So it's like, even if it doesn't get unleashed and hit somebody back, it can still have that value.
Which is nice because you get some of the cooldown back when you don't use it.
Yeah.
So as a zoning tool, very nice. Soren, still laughing.
I mean, wouldn't you be if,
I mean, he's
if
2-1-1.
Koski like flashes forward into
Yeah, I mean, I'll take
top
it.
lane and that?
True shot in the top lane, also clearing waves. There's a lot of wave clear in this game from both teams.
Yeah, there is. We got a Lissandra, we got a Lux,
Graves,
Lucian.
Ezreal. There's a lot, is what we're trying to say.
Yeah,
Very reminiscent of a game last week.
which was in the second spot of the day as well.
Yes,
It was,
it's a sign.
And so what that led to, though, was I'm going to say it, I'm going to say Balls to the Walls third series, where it was as crazy. So I'm sure that's a reference to, like, squash. And nothing else.
I wondered where you were going with that, but that was hashtag saved, so good job. Now we have the 1v1, yes. Okay. Herald's been taken, but I want to talk about the bot lane, where Sartorius is 1v1ing Wicked.
Well, Wicked has a 2-level advantage on Sartorius. That's going to make that 1v1 a little trickier.
We're still looking at the Herald.
To the point where I'm pretty sure
Will I?
Sartorius...
Will I?
I'm pretty sure Sartorius doesn't want to trade. It's like, oh, you're a Poppy. You have a Sunfire cape, and you're going to just push me into a wall, and I can't Shadow Dash away. Seems like a bad trade for me.
Yes, even if they were equal, it's really annoying because if you go into trade, then as soon as you come out of the taunt, she just, combos you into a wall, or she predicts you go for the taunt, and then you get knocked up before you reach her, and then she all-ins you. So there's no real win situation for Shen in that matchup.
Yeah.
He just
also,
feels sad.
The fact that, like, the only real win Shen gets from that is, like, he procs his W, and it's like, ha, your buckler damage.
Yeah, blocked that one.
Blocked your buckler. Now you
Yeah.
got to run to me and pick it up. Oh, you picked it up and then pushed me into a wall? Okay.
Problem is that's never ever really efficient because unless your Spirit Blade happens to be there, you have to use your Twilight Assault to grab your sword and then Spirit's Refuge, which is a lot of energy. It's 140 at rank 1 and 100 at max rank for Twilight Assault, then Spirit's Refuge, which is a flat 40 all the way. So that's still like 180 very early into the game is ridiculous. You don't want to be spending all of that energy straight up. And because your energy refunds at the same rate it used to do when you had 100 energy, you basically get like none of it back. You have to hit things with Twilight Assault or your E to get your energy back. So TLDR, you don't really want to use it just to buck the buckler.
That was a long explanation for that. However, we might see it in action, Pulse.
Oh no. I mean,
Sartorius, does he know what's coming?
he doesn't have his shield.
He didn't block it. There we
Ah.
go. It's done.
Okay.
We got our answer to the question. Is it worth?
No.
No. No, it is not worth. Also, the buckler didn't do a whole lot of damage as it
No.
was anyway.
Whoop. Dodged it. Gets the minion wave though.
Yep.
That's all he really needed. We're going to get a lot of situations like this where
Oh,
you
yeah.
have like 3 people walk up to a tower and it's just like, well, there's someone with wave clear here, so I guess we have to back away for 20 seconds.
Of course, those are Rift Herald minions, not Baron minions, so no extra MR.
Nope. Not
That
tankier.
comes later.
They get more attack speed, and you get 10% extra damage, and you get movement speed.
But no extra MR.
Nope. But if you get a Banner of Command,
People are going to be like, can they stop talking about Banner of Command?
it's such a good item though.
It, like,
Just try it. Don't knock it until you tried it.
It is a really solid item in this current meta. Like, when controlling side waves is so important. the ability to do it passively, just to go, and now I win this lane. Like, have it push. Really can't be understated.
Very nice into pure AP matchups as well. Like, we didn't see it come to fruition in the last game because Soren grouped up with his team, but if Soren had been by himself, he can't really... It stymies the push greatly.
Yeah. 2 items that are really good, as we've alluded to. Banner, and then Hex Drinker. Like, anytime you see 2 APs on the enemy team, you'll see the Hex Drinkers on, like, top laners, junglers, anybody that can build it. Yeah, even AD carries, like Ezreal can build it as a 3rd item.
Especially because of blue build. I mean, it's like, it's purple, so it's still within the same kind of color range.
Only when you put it in more of Malmortius.
Yes.
Otherwise, it's orange, and it's a complementary color, but...
doesn't really fit the same palette.
No.
Yeah. The end goal is there.
It is, and there is a Hex Drinker on Maxwell, so...
Yes. That's basically the build for Graves regardless. Like, sometimes he'll go for Stags first, sometimes he'll go for Ghostblade if he's in no danger of being killed by someone, but he'll always finish those 2 items.
So more of Malmortius is so good, not only for the shield, but the passive that's on it as well. So when the shield actually procs, for the amount of time you remain in combat, you get extra attack speed, lifesteal, spell vamp. Like, that trio of things is so good on anybody that builds a Hex Drinker.
The key word is until you're out of combat. Yes. So you can go away.
Whoa, Woolite! Goodbye!
He's out of there.
There's the combo.
Home run! Yeah. I mean, he got caught, so...
Yeah, that's one binding for you.
Oh, Wicked did not block that with the steadfast presence, and now Maxwell's coming in. Now he uses it, but Sartorius is still chasing after. He has Shadow Dash in 5 seconds, so they can't really chase after him because the W gives you extra movement speed from Poppy, so she's out. Mid lane, though, that was a big commitment, and I don't think they can clear this away. The Sanjin in the top lane, Woolite's dead. And Maxwell was on bot lane, so middle turret picked up for Copenhagen Wolves.
Now, do Wolves continue to push and just give away this top tower? It's already so low. They have to recognize that it was going anyway. Good knockup.
Nice combo from Wendelbo. It also clears out the minion wave and gives Maxwell time to come in. And now the collapse coming in from Kozq. Is it enough though? Troven comes out and is locked up with the ultimate, but Kozq pays for it with his life. And Panoy is hammering away with the cutting. He's dancing on the outside of the fight, but this time Woolite will get the better of him and pick up the kill. Wicked now trying to escape this one. There's the ultimate right through the goalposts. And everyone will back away from Copenhagen Wolves. A 1-for-1 after all of that from both teams.
Soren is going to be kicking himself. His ult went down away from the fight. The damage is still not done.
Maxlaw's out.
I think Maxlaw was in the E before it proc then. And
I think he would have died. Like, if he wasn't knocked away, I think he would have died.
Would have been real close. But Soren, if we get a chance to see that fight again, you'll see his ult goes down away from the fight. Ooh, that ult didn't go away. Woolite, no more hairs left on the back of his neck.
Nope.
So this is the fight again. We'll see it again. So at this point, Inspire know they have the double TP comp. They can come in here. They use a Shen ultimate to do it as well. So this is a good setup for the fight. Watch Soren. Spot something in the horizon. Ult's down and away. So didn't really get the damage. Imagine now if that added damage was on 2 or 3 people from Inspire.
Yeah.
This kiting back from the Wolves, they've got blue buff on Soren, so that mana's coming back pretty quickly to be able to clear this next wave out. So Soren will really hate himself for that ult.
I think I would have liked to see a self-ult by Kozq. When the instant he teleported in, he has 3 members around him, and he could have self-ult and got the damage and survived. But he used it aggressively on Troven to try and pick up the kill. Troven was already building magic resist and has now completed the Spirit Visage, so it was hard to pick up that kill, but that's so difficult to call in the heat of the moment. And
I mean, that's one of the hidden strengths of Lissandra, right? Is that you take up a lot of time in a team fight. You ult yourself. Once you have Zhonya's, which now Kozq has, you use that as well. By the time you've Zhonya's ulted and you're kind of running around in a fight, it's like 7.5 seconds.
Yeah.
That you're actually keeping people busy. And they can't kill you. They have to kind of be aware of your positioning, because as soon as you come out of those status effects, you're like Ring of Frost or Q, and then everybody gets locked down with some kind of crowd control. So you have to respect it. Lux Laser goes in.
Not today.
A little bit early, but
gets it. Yeah, I remember Stress saying in week 1 of the LCS.
Yeah, that guy. I
it was a good point.
About
yeah.
that. I think it was week 2, actually.
Week 2? Okay.
Yeah. Maybe day 2.
Yeah, I think it was just
Maybe you
this
should
guy
check
Pulse
that
as
out.
well. Yeah, he was talking about like Lissandra or something.
You sure he wasn't talking about Alistair?
I think he was actually.
What we should be talking about is Copenhagen Wolves pushing down the inner tower in the middle lane.
Yeah, the Copenhagen Wolves have been playing so well this series. Like, they take one kill or they take like one small advantage and they instantly go for an objective and take it.
Yeah.
Um,
They've been very good with, you know, converting picks into actual objectives, which was surprising because last week that was something they weren't doing effectively. They got stalled out with that disengage kind of composition, always on the back foot, couldn't really get any kind of engages, and it just wasn't working for them. Saying that, Inspire on the other side recognize there's an opening mid, take that for themselves.
It's an outer turret though, which is easier to get to, versus an inner turret that was picked up by Copenhagen Wolves there. And now they just have more pressure that they can apply in the jungle of Inspire. They do need to get those side lanes down though, but the mid lane is typically the hardest. But really, we haven't seen that synergy from top and jungle that Kasing was alluding to. We've really just seen like the top lane is by themselves. The jungle is really just assisting the rest of the teams, and that has been down to the compositions that have been run. For example, like we're seeing a 1-3-1 in this game. We saw like a 1-4 last game as well of Sartorius. So there's no real reason for Maxwell to be interacting with him. Maybe you could argue like a composition that would force more interaction between the laners could yield better results, but it's hard to say.
So Inspire now have that pink ward on the Baron, trying to maintain some control. What they need to do for the next step, even though they are behind, it is kind of the next evolution of that because they're trying to play this 1-3-1, is they need to clear out the pink wards in the top side jungle and just the wards that are spattered around the jungle openings at a minimum. You can't play aggressive on your side lanes if you don't have the vision control to match it. And that's going to be the struggle right now, is that, look, pink ward here on the blue buff, they've also got a ward on the entrance just above it. Pink wards all the way through this jungle. Look, Inspire didn't clean this out, which means the Wolves have full vision of the fact that Inspire have gone down through the jungle, and now Wendelbo is caught.
But now he pops his ultimate very early, and he's able to back away and take less damage from this one, so he's going to stay alive. And those are 3 people locked up dealing with Alistair. But bot lane didn't even go down.
Right, and the difference here is, yes, they were locked up dealing with Alistair, but Inspire couldn't move forward without the Alistair, and Copenhagen Wolves are already bringing their wave clear down. So it means that they get slowed out. Mid lane wasn't pushed in properly either. Top lane had to recall from Cosq just backed away. So all of the pressure that was built up from top and bottom pushing in from Sartorius and Cosq just gets released because the team was tracked all the way through the jungle. If that is done in the darkness, where nobody from Copenhagen Wolves sees that, Inspire potentially either get the bottom tower or get a pick. And in that position, Copenhagen Wolves can't really react as quickly.
Well, Inspire still behind in this game, but not as much as it's kind of felt because of all the aggressive plays from Copenhagen Wolves. Only around 2,500 gold. And 2 dragons have gone over to them. It's very unlikely with one of the dragons going over to Copenhagen Wolves, we're going to see 5 dragons from Inspire. But they do have a lot of wave clear. And they do have Shen in the side lane as well. So there's potential, but unlikely. Mid lane, Soren's going to continue wave clearing. 3-1 and 2 right now. Sat on 2 big items plus his blasting wand. Compared to his opposite number, who has those 2 big items and almost a death cap on Cosq. That spike will be really nice in the next fight. Woolite also picked up the Hex Drinker you were talking about earlier, Stress, where AD carry can go for that one. Broken the color palette, but once he goes into more, it will have fixed itself.
Yeah, it will.
Don't know what that Vamp Scepter's doing there, though.
It's just ruining the decorum.
Yeah.
Oh, the Wolves.
Well, Woolite, it's not dead yet.
Well, he's got his
the smite comes out and jumps over the wall. That was actually a nice position from Woolite. He stayed near the wall just in case they happened to stun up, so he could E over. But yeah, I thought they were going to jump on him when he was locked into his ultimate animation. Top tower is being completely destroyed, and IE only now react to it. Cosq is roaming up. They keep it alive, but it will be dead soon.
This is most of the difference here, is that look at the wards deep from Copenhagen Wolves. Yes, there are a spattering of wards very pulled back in the Inspire jungle. They go aggressive,
Well, Trowan has to come back up at some time, and there goes the ultimate from Cosq, but Maxwell doesn't really have the damage by himself. Walleye now coming in. There's the ultimate, flashes away from him, but still gets hit. Wendelbo with the ultimate on top of him. Sartorius comes into the fight, looking for the lockdown. There's the shutdown in from Sartorius, in from the Shen. Maxwell's now being chased out, but he turns around and gets the kill off, and he goes into Sterex. He's still alive. Wicked tries to get the damage out, but it's not enough. 3-0 to Inspire.
Great fight for Inspire, and they just had enough vision to control that fight all the way around. There you saw Maxlaw's Maw of Malmortius proc, and then that's why he was just unkillable at that point. The rest of the team were blocking for him, and the ability for him to just continue to regen. That is likely to be the Baron going over to Inspire. Trovan is not around for 14 seconds. It's never going to get there in time, so that is going to go over to Inspire, and that pretty much just turns the game around.
Yeah. The Baron is huge. Not only the extra gold it gives, but maybe the potential over the next couple of minutes. We're going to see the opening up to that fight as Cosq comes in.
So this is all from Trovan going too deep. He goes into the vision of Inspire and looks to tower dive when realistically the rest of his team could have taken that tower on its own. Soren forced to cleanse and flash away wasn't enough, as there were 3 people from Inspire on the damage dealers for the Copenhagen Wolves for the entire first couple of seconds of this fight. Wicked can't do enough in this situation to actually take anybody out. Ends up in a double kill for Cosq, 3 kills overall, and Inspire have just come back in this game.
Yeah, and as you correctly mentioned, that was more, but also Face of the Mountain was used on him by Wendelbo. I thought that was Starks. It was not.
He's building Starks next.
He is. So I'll say it in a couple minutes' time, and I'll be right. So before you hop on Twitter and tell me I'm wrong.
Hop on Twitter, tell Pulse he's wrong.
Yep, do that. Tweet at RiotPulse.
I like it, you're welcoming it.
Hashtag IE win.
Hashtag kissing was right.
Hashtag kissing was right all along. Not the 2-0, but maybe the 1-1.
Half right. We'll give him. We'll give
yeah, it's fine. Sartorius back in the middle lane. Has his teleport, but almost has his ultimate as well, so he'll probably start splitting again. And Wicked is not really at the stage where he can kill the Shen, so they just kind of stay up there and equally clear those waves. With both of them with a Sunfire cape, they basically just stall out. Mid lane is going down to Inspire. How much can they take off this Baron? They've already taken a lot. Mid lane tower going down, the Baron gold as well. That's also swung it into their favor. They were 2k gold down, and now they're 1k up, so...
Bot tower is likely to fall here as well, with Cosq pushing up on that. This is a good play out by Inspire, being able to take a fair amount of objectives just from this one fight that resulted in the 3-for-0. That's the problem really with well, I say problem, that's the thing with the death timers. Yeah. Is the death timers are sufficient that you can go from that fight, even on fairly low health, take the Baron, then take a lot more. Whoa!
Maxwell is surviving though. Look at the potential to stay alive. The more coming up there, and also
the
something
Channel.
else shielded him.
Channel,
yeah, Channel.
plus the heal that came from Alistair.
That's why the build is just so good. Like, when he builds the Starks as well, he will be even less likely to be bursted, but just the Maw by itself, then the shielding in from Sartorius, it's so difficult to pop a single target, which Soren is finding as this game goes on.
And now the Sterix as well, Pulse.
I know, that's
Sterix,
yeah. So I'll call it in the next fight, and I'll
this is
correct.
where he goes through untouched.
I mean, but they damage him too slowly, so it doesn't actually proc. That would be the worst.
Just like the whole fight is Sir Nukes-a-lot just hitting him with a club.
Yeah.
Just like slowly
Panoi's
whittling
one
him
auto
down.
attack, one auto attack. Yeah. It could happen. That is actually something that happens to Starks users, where they get damaged and killed too slowly, so that it never actually gets popped. Specifically on tanks who have a lot of resistances. If you're just in a one-on-one, you're not going to get the Starks to pop. Stark problems, boys.
Stark problems, yeah.
Yeah.
Banner on to Wendelbo. Again, we've already kind of highlighted its usefulness. In the 1-3-1 composition now, though, as well, means that the control of the side waves is even more so in Inspire's favor. Now they have that ability to put that alongside a Shen, and it's going to push faster. Lissandra pushes fairly fast on her own. Doesn't really need that extra help, but, you know, it's nice. Could also use it in the lane against the Lux.
Yeah. With a side wave control being important right now, one day we will see Zerat Portal. One day. It's not this day.
I've seen people doing it in solo queue, where you actually put it defensively. We were talking about this last night, where you put it kind of like a third to halfway up the lane, and what it means is your lane always pushes.
Right.
So you like always get that side lane pushing, and it's in a safe spot. I don't really think we'll see it in competitive too much.
No. But it does mean that the wave always pushes, and if you put it under a tower, no one can clear it.
Yeah.
Like, you can't actually just go up and kill it, because your wave is never going to be there, so you can hit the damn thing. And even if you are, you want to hit the tower, not the Zerop portal.
There is one problem with that, though, is that if your lane is always pushing away from you, your gold income is kind of killed off one lane. It kind of neutralizes everything, because you don't want to go up there for it to clear it out, because Zerop portal's pushing it through. So you do lose solo laner income from that. You have to supplement it with somewhere else. But if you're looking to close the game fast, maybe it works out for you. You just assist the push. But it's a lot of gold for not a whole amount of gain.
Indeed. The actual stats it gives as well is okay, but you hardly ever see Guardian Angels picked up on 5 players anymore because of the stats it gives. It's just armor and MR. Likewise with Zerop Portal, you'll just really pick up Guardian Angel on like 1 player, 1 priority pick, like a AD carry, for example. Pinoy off on this red buff. Gone for Rapid Fire Cannon after his Essence Reaver, fairly standard, and also the Mercurial Scimitar. There's a lot to Scimitar out of actually this game. The Taunt, the ultimate from Cosq. You can't Quicksilver Sash the combo from Wendelbow, but the other 2 as priorities is very nice for Pinoy. And just wave clear City right now.
Yeah, but the key thing is bottom lane as well, is where you need to look at. Cosq is pushing through onto Wicked. Slowly but surely that is going to push up to the turret and deal damage to that as well. So rather than it being 1-3-1 as such, right now it's more of a 4-1, but Maxlaw has moved away. Maxlaw's not the guy that's going to be in mid lane pushing. Graves, while he is good at pushing towers as a group, on his own, the reload mechanic does make it fairly slow. Wave clear is good though.
Yes, it is. I like the adaptation from Inspire. I want to say Infinity Edge. Because Shen being with the team and being able to like assist them and being a big tank in front of them to block some damage, versus Cosq being in the side lane where Shen can't really push in Wicked, but Cosq has enough wave clear that he can just keep shoving this wave over and over again, and will eventually chip away the turret, whereas Wicked has to spend all of his time trying to kill those minions when the ranged Lissandra is taking the turret away.
That is true. Dragon has spawned though. This would be the 4th of the game for Inspire, so considering you're like, well, I don't think we're going to see 5.
Well,
we're getting there.
Yeah.
We're getting closer, but I think Wolves are going to take this one away. If Inspire force a fight, I wonder. Well, it's more I wonder if they do. They're looking to go towards top side.
Yeah.
Baron isn't up for another few minutes. Maybe they're looking to just kind of rush towards the turret, but they're floundering.
Maybe.
They're not actually choosing anything.
There's a lot of hesitation, and Troven was the last one to leave the dragon, so they wouldn't have him for the fight.
Baron just spawned. It was in the animation when I looked at the map. So that is.
So now there is a reason for them to be there.
Now there is a reason.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's fine. Lissandra's still off into a side lane. Sartorius is still grouped with his team, and Nuke's Luck will also head back. Just as another quick point. It's really nice if you have a range matchup to take a tower versus Shen, especially Sunfire users, or any Sunfire user in the top lane, because if you're trying to take a turret, Sunfire will aggro the turret, so you have to run away. Like, if you're in a defensive situation against a Sunfire user, you just want to walk up to them and take a point of damage. Look at that minion, man.
Elise
look at the value.
Like, I can't deal with it.
Elise.
Look at this. This is actually hilarious.
Like, you can't.
They're just like, screw it. We'll let
I'm not even going to take the gold, man. It's not worth it.
4 people
Pinoy.
just had 4 people in a minion wave just had to deal with that banner empowered minion.
Look how strong it is, but
Cosq's waiting in base, looking for the flank TP here off the Baron start.
Can they close the trap though? Wicked is the first one in, channels the ultimate, but is taunted ultimate. Sartorius should be able to get the kill here. Wicked jumps back into the fight, and now he pops his own ultimate to protect his allies. Cosq goes into stasis. Sartorius on the front lines, but he separates from the team, gets the taunt again, and they are able to finish him off. Troven and the rest of Copenhagen Wolves trying to run away, but Pinoy is going for this 1v2, and Cosq trying to chase after him is dropping low, has to go into stasis once again, this time with the Zhonya's. Sartorius trying to get in range. Panoy will back off, but that 1v2 might be enough to try and salvage some of that fight. Warlight doesn't connect with Troven, and he might try and go for the execute. I'm not sure if he's going to get it. He got it! Warlight couldn't tag him.
I mean, the problem there is, execute or not, Death Timer is the real key thing. Warlight getting a little bit of extra gold really doesn't matter here, because the Baron is going to go over to Inspire. There's no real way of stealing that. And that all came from Inspire starting the Baron, having the vision control, knowing that they have... The Copenhagen Wolves have to come down the ramp, have to try and fight that. And CosQ teleported in from the base, got an ult on himself. We're going to take another look at this. CosQ at this point has already TP'd, claws into the fight, flash ult on himself, got damage down onto Soren and Panoy. Panoy had to QSS and get himself back out of this fight. From here, look how tanky though Inspire, even CosQ, is really difficult to chunk through. Like, between all these shields and just his tanky build, CosQ just takes too long to die.
I mean, that's late game Lissandra when you have 2 stasises.
Yep, a Rod of Ages and...
a Shen. And a Wendelbow with Face of the Mountain.
Yep.
What is the plural of stasises? Stasi? Stasises?
Stasi. Sounds like
Stasis?
Stacy.
Status? I don't know. Someone will tell me.
Well, whatever it is,
he's got a lot of
going on in that
yeah,
last fight.
You really did. Oh, look at it. You've got the Baron empowered minion with the promote. There it is.
This one is the one I think Crepo normally calls Bob.
Bob. Oh, Bob's
he's
dead.
gone.
Ready for Bill to be brought out next. CosQ with the ultimate on top of him with Sartorius. They're going to take away the turret. They knocked back Alistair and will go for the 4v5. This might be the best chance the Copenhagen Wolves have. And CosQ again goes into stasis. They just can't kill him. Maybe when he comes out of though, great laser timing, but he's still not dead. And the E comes across, but he does not want to be coming back into the fight. Warlight kiting away from Copenhagen Wolves. Nukeslot looking for a good pillar to lock them down. And Warlight has already used his E. He needs to land some Qs to try and get that reset. But the 1-for-1 overall, but the mid lane tower did go down to Inspire. That's the major thing here.
Yeah, tower fell. Now it's on Inspire to recall back out, get themselves to look at the bottom lane as well, as Wicked's going to try and push it out and clear it. So, teleport is available for Sartorius. No ultimate available for him, though. CosQ nearly has his ult again, so I think Inspire are probably just going to look for round 2 over the inhibitor. Here was the push once again. This is the setup. Look at how much is just thrown into this Baroned up minion. The culling does a fair amount of work, and then it's on for the fight. So Wendelbo's the one that gets blasted back here, which actually helps out considerably at the beginning of this fight. If Wendelbo's coming in here, that's a 3-person knockup fairly easily. Big laser comes out from Soren. Not enough to take out CosQ. This fight may have gone differently if the Wolves were able to confidently push forward through the fight, but nevertheless, we're back on in front of the middle inhibitor right now for Inspire.
It was really nicely timed by Soren as CosQ came out of the stasis. Oh, Troen off to the side with nukes a lot, gets to subjugate for the healing, but Wicked is off to the back lines. He thinks about going in, but the hesitation. He doesn't want to go in right now. Just doesn't feel like they have the resources to go for the fight and will just give up the inhibitor. So the teleport being down by Wicked is big.
It is. I mean, it kind of is. So it denies any kind of flank play now with a teleport, which is one of the ways that they would have liked to have combat what Inspire are trying to do with this mid lane push. Problem is, the flank play of a teleport with a Poppy is not as impactful as most that you'd see. I mean, you kind of have to flank and hope you run in at an angle where you can catch somebody on a wall, and then like Shen can just dodge away, Ezreal just ease out.
But the nice thing about going for a flank with Poppy is even if you jump into the team and don't get the stun off, you can still pop Steadfast Presence, which means if like a Shen is there or anyone with a dash, it means they can't go out. Specifically, if an Alistair wants to engage on your team, you knock him up before he goes for the engage.
But the problem there is Wendelbo has his flash.
Yep.
CosQ isn't affected by that. Ezreal isn't affected by that either. It's only really Graves and Shen, because Wendelbo, if you go into him, he just pulverizes. He just hits the floor, you go up, and suddenly you end up
and he has
dead.
his splash available, so he can pulverize
Teleport
flash.
coming in, though. War just expired. I believe it's CosQ coming over the wall.
There's the third dragon going over, so no fifth dragon just yet. Troven goes down on Wicked, also dropping low. He'll slam Cosq into the wall, but doesn't get the stun off. And now the entire Copenhagen Wolves lineup just have to back away. Pinoy is being chased out, but Sartorius with a fantastic taunt flash will lock him out of the game. And Soren by himself, he just can't get away. He's too immobile. 4-0. Wicked gets out alive, but he cannot defend his push.
Now that is going to be it. Inspire right now will bypass the turret and just head for the middle lane with Wendelbo being very tanky. They should be able to just clear this out. No minions though, so it's going to take a minute. It's going to be a slow end to the game, but it's going to happen.
They'll get it eventually. Like, they're tanky enough to tank the turrets. We'll just wait for a bit. You'll get it eventually. But Inspire eSports with a win in the second game, our first 1-1, and they'll take it over Copenhagen Wolves.
A 1-1 result from these two gives each team a point.
Yes, 1 point.
So these two teams will slightly edge their way closer to playoffs, but that was a lot better from Inspire than in Game 1. When you look at the back half of the game, they were kind of given that team fight in the top side, just from Wolves pushing up and going into vision range without clearing it out, and going too deep, too fast, perhaps, on that top lane tower. I think that top lane tower actually would have died without the push.
Yeah.
But it is the situation they ended up in, and Inspire played it well, got the Baron, then kind of took a couple of turrets off it, exposed mid lane, got themselves a second Baron, and it was a process to close the game.
It was a process, but it was a knock-on effect from winning that fight when they went for that Baron that you just mentioned. And from that, we never really saw Copenhagen Wolves come back into the game. Inspire was just on top of them, because when you have a 1-3-1 setup and you're ahead, it's so difficult to play against, especially if you have Baron. Like, you buff up every single wave. You don't have the people to react to that and be able to 1v1 those people. And also, even in the 4-1 that we saw them adapt to later, what's Poppy going to do against Lissandra? You're going to be pushed in eventually, and then the team's going to join you and take your turret. So it was really well played by Inspire, and when they knew they were ahead, to push their advantage in the right way.
I'm just glad we saw good things from both teams.
Yeah.
Honestly, I think after watching some of last week's games where we had a couple of teams that were a bit shaky, a bit rough, even the SK Copenhagen Wolves series was long. This was a fairly long 2 games.
Yeah.
But the second one was long because the Copenhagen Wolves made a mistake and then let Inspire back into it. So it's kind of, half a dozen of one, 6 of the other.
Yeah. Well, series like these are good because when you get a 1-1, then you see positives and negatives from both teams, so both teams can take something away from it, because clearly you did something wrong if you lost a game, but then you did something right at the same time. So good to see a close series. Didn't see the 2-0. But anyway, we need to reset the rift, so we will be back in 5 minutes for our final series of the week.